What's in your attic? Well, one Elmira man found a rare first edition journal from Lewis and Clark's famous expedition to the Pacific Northwest.
Art Thompson found the copy in his mother's attic over 30 years ago and recently donated it to a museum in North Dakota. WNYHD's Kelly Meyer joins us live in the studio with the story. Kelly, this is some find.
Jennifer, Art had that same reaction when he was telling us the story. Imagine finding an important piece of American history right in your house.
30 years ago, Art Thompson found this book in his mom's attic. Like a lot of people who find these old beat-up books, he just threw it aside. That was until a friend noticed it and told him it's worth more than $20,000.
Look carefully in your attic.
It's a rare first edition journal by Patrick Gass, one of the sergeants on Lewis and Clark's expedition to the Pacific Northwest. Published in 1807, the first account ever published of the Lewis and Clark journey.
We never really had any interest in Lewis and Clark before this, but we do now.
Art and his wife decided to retrace the steps of Lewis and Clark. The journey took old Lewis and Clark 2 years and took the Thompsons only a month, and led them to Washburn, North Dakota, home of the Lewis and Clark Interpretive Center, where Art decided to donate his attic find.
But a donation like this doesn't come along very often. We just had a gentleman that came in, heard about the donation, and asked to see the book. And so it's stimulating visitation here at our little place of Lewis and Clark history in North Dakota.
But just how did this book end up in his family's attic?
There was a name on the trip, a gentleman by the name of John B. Thompson. Well, was he related to us? I mean, this is all stuff we found out along the trip. So now the question is it possible that the book was in our attic because John B. Thompson's related to us and it came from Patrick?
So now at 67, Art is going on an adventure of his own.
Yeah, we don't know. We have no idea, but we will know. The journey has just begun for us.
The journal is expected to arrive at the museum tomorrow. Kelly Meyer, WENY HD News.
Well, coming up next, a rare first edition journal from the Lewis and Clark expedition found nearly 30 years ago by an Elmira man lands in a North Dakota library. Find out how the journal was found. That's next on WETM 18 News at 6.
A North Dakota Library and Interpretive Center receives a first edition journal from the Lewis and Clark expedition, and it's all thanks to an Elmira man.
The journal was written by a sergeant on that famous expedition, and WETM 18 News reporter Erica Brecker explains how it fell into Art Thompson's hands. Erica?
Jeff, Marissa, in the 1980s, Thompson of Elmira sold his mother's Pennsylvania house. He found a trunk in the attic that was full of books. Among them was a first edition journal by Patrick Gass, a sergeant on the famous expedition through the Northwest. After deciding to donate the old journal, Thompson and his wife took a month-long trip this past summer, following the Lewis and Clark Trail to find the most appropriate home for it. He says the Lewis and Clark Interpretive Center in Washburn, North Dakota, near Fort Mandan, is having its grand opening and did not already have a copy of the journal.
Patrick Gass himself was promoted to sergeant just south of Fort Mandan, and it probably, we felt anyway, it was probably the highlight of his military career. And he was a carpenter, so he would have been instrumental in building the fort where they wintered in Fort Mandan.
Thompson says it just seemed like the most logical place. He says his family is excited for their next journey, figuring out what possible ancestry to members of the Lewis and Clark expedition, if any, led the book to landing in his mother's attic. Thompson and his sisters are simply donating this rare journal, which could be valued up to $20,000. He says it's more important to them that the book is in a place where it will be cared for and appreciated. Reporting live in the Satellite Center, Erica Brecker, WETM 18 News.
Thank you so much, Erica.